Were the elder gods real? Was Lovecraft just being influenced by these powerful entities who suggested their existence to him through his dreams, which then influenced his books and stories? Was Lovecraft the unwitting messenger of the real nature of the world and cosmos and our place within it? Kenneth Grant notes similarities between Lovecraft's writings and the cults of Crowley. Perhaps Lovecraft knew more than he thought. No. Yes. Unironically, the real Dagon might have looked a lot like how Cthulhu is described. They called him as an epithet in Babylon Eridamaru, which meant tentacle face. I'm not joking. Another one was Akkadian, I think, Vezim.inam, which roughly translates as whose face is cursed. There were a couple others that I forgot, they're written down somewhere in my journals. I didn't interpret these, they are established words conjunct. I'm not the only one that picked up on it. Erid equals face, of, Imru equals tentacle/tendril, plural. Vezim equals, in relation to facial features, who has inam equals ugly curse/mutation. Yes. But they're actually very lame. Jesus is the Jesus that smacks them all just by a single word. The power of angels having sex with fish. Yes, and he stumbled upon a really great pantheon. I'm going to reach out to these gods and speak with them and be in their company. And I will be happy. H.P. Lovecraft's Black Cat was called N-word man. Lovecraft. L.C. Lewis Carroll. Laurie Cabot. L.C. Yeah, look into Crowley and him trying to call up Cthulhu. More satanic nonsense. I think Lovecraft was perceiving astral entities in his sleep, and he wrote stories about them. How much of those stories are fiction, and how much of them are based on what he witnessed in his sleep, we simply don't know. I don't think Lovecraft thought the entities he encountered in his sleep were real, just dreams. But it's notable that Lovecraft saw these creatures in his sleep, and Cthulhu himself was a sleeping demigod, capable of influencing humans via their dreams. A lot of Lovecraft's stories/mythologies are centered around sleep and dreams as well. I do think he was tapping into something. Those cut-out sections in muscular areas look like slug pneumostomes. When I meet entities in my dreams, the more ancient and powerful they are, the more human-like and holy. So I doubt. What the fuck, bro? I've had Lovecraftian dreams a few years before I started coming on /x/ or even knew much about Lovecraft. Octopus squid things killing entire cities of people, feelings of doom, worldwide invasions, sealings of fate. I don't know how to really describe it. The most memorable one, I was awoken by a super loud thunderclap. Loud enough that it was in the local news that day. Probably because we rarely get thunder where I'm from. I truly believe that I had the misfortune of encountering one of these entities in my dreams, and in my search to understand what exactly it was that I encountered that night, I encountered it in my waking life. I swear I am not LARPing as some Lovecraftian protagonist, I am telling the truth. There may be good and evil entities. Whatever the fuck Lovecraft was writing about fall under the guise of neither. They are chaos, which is some other shit. They resemble squids, or, I haven't seen other talk about this, but xenomorphs as well. Speaking of Lovecraftian entities. Once I had this dream where, I was wandering an unknown city, where everyone was strange. The beings around me were human-like, but their movements were not. I had some kind of working jumpsuit. The air around smelled of sulfur and iron. A tall dark man was waiting at the bottom of a stairwell. I don't know what he told me, but this entity was unpleasant to be around. I handed him some papers and he gave me something back. Then it disappeared. Woke up terrified in the middle of the night. That dream reminded me of Nyarlathotep. Thread. You're only talking about early last century, people in the West weren't as superstitious as all that. Couple hundred years earlier, sure. You'd find most people in developed countries circa 1900 objectively more intelligent than equivalent populations today. Bro, that's creepy as fuck, bet you never forget that one. Had other similar dreams, mostly involving strange landscapes and entities. That was before I knew about H.P. Lovecraft. I don't know about others, but this dream I still remember. Keck. Yes, they're real and exist, but things aren't the way they are in fiction. They're worse. You're just lucky there's gods like me around to kick them back into the void when they get active. I think H.P. Lovecraft's works were inspired by real metaphysical, epistemological, ontological, and phenomenological wonders like the horror of the horror, the mystery of paradox, the tragedy of the limits of human perception, the boundaries of what is possible to know, and the border country between the real and the supernatural. These frequently appear as motifs in his work. With a preternatural gift for evoking the strange from real and wholly imagined sources, and for combining them, and a great talent for expressing these things in his prose both thematically and stylistically, settings, characters, and plots lent themselves to tales that delved into real mysteries of creation and human experience. He was truly a master of settings, and many of his works rely on the setting to drive the plot, such as The Temple. While most people could appreciate Lovecraft's works as horror, some people, including many of those who somehow find themselves reading his work, may find something in the stories relatable, like the sleeping god who dreams, and yet many of those on the edges of society such as madmen and deviants hear the dreamer's whispers and are called to his following. I'm sure many people on /x/ could identify with them, given the high likelihood of finding a whisper from the dream of a dead god while pondering many a tome of long-forgotten lore. So interesting, a lot of the creatures in his stories are tentacled. Does this say anything about cephalopods in real life? Do they have some paranormal connections at all? They're highly intelligent. They are a good reference point or symbol for an alien or otherworldly intelligence. Yog-Sothoth etc. derives from the Adramlic aspect of Ezrat, God. Picture from Book of Sitra-Akra, a grimoire of the dragons of the other side. I.e. conceptually generated mythology, Thulhu mythos, generated from this Clophus spiritual structures, Adrain lex Clophus amail. Joke. GREATINGSMORTALDTHISIONEOFMYBESSELS.IAMTHEELDER. GODWHOSEUTTERANCEOFNAMEALONA. ISENOUGHTODRIVEOTHERWISESANE, NONBIOLENTMEN. INTOAVIOLENTRAGEDAMYNAMEISNIGGREDACTED. They are among the strangest creatures even in the ocean, which is teeming with bizarre creatures. They can change color and skin texture at will, have beaks instead of teeth, all without exception have poisonous saliva, can squeeze through extremely small holes, their tentacles have so many neurons that they almost act on their own. They also have taste and smell receptors on the tentacles. And muscle-driven suckers so powerful they almost can't be forcefully removed. Cephalopods are also intelligent to the point of using tools and mimicking objects and other animals for various purposes. They can still probably evolve into sentient species, given a lot of, time. And yet they live such pitifully short lives. Like a candle burning at both ends. Live fast, die young. But maybe things are different in their native habitat. I understand peacock mantis shrimps live 20 in the wild and 5 in captivity, which is totally bizarro compared to other animals. Some say that aquatic marine animals are peculiar from land animals, in that they have a sideways gene transfer thing. Some say the Egyptian pharaohs knew this, and that the classic headdress represented an octopus. They say octopi are pure animal, if different from land animals, and that mussels are only partially animals, and part stone. Creatures like hippopotami are so similar to crocodiles, I have a real hard time believing they're natural animals. And the rhinoceros looks like a freaky elephantine variant of the Appalachian unicorn, which actually has 2 horns. Crocs are the pinnacle of evolution, unchanging for the last few million years apparently. Perfect killing machines, second only to elephants, yet another walking anomaly. It's like they were specifically bred by some god as living engines of war. Until more recent times, even hunters armed with rifles used to have a hard time hunting big crocs, because except for a couple of spots their skin is so hard that contemporary rifles could not penetrate it. Good post. Ol Howard had a real talent for digging deep into the human psyche and creating entire mythologies around human fears. Despite being known for his indescribable horrors, he was fantastic at describing locations, atmosphere, and everything else, really. He provided what he thought was necessary to evoke the mood he was trying to set. Bro just didn't like sea creatures and thought they looked alien. He's right, really. A lot of sea creatures just look really bizarre. Lovecraft was an obsessed schizo-autist who collected and read a ton of lore and loved learning about very esoteric folk tales. Much of what he wrote was inspired by what he had read. A huge amount of his stories are based partly on nightmares he would have. Lovecraft had dreams and would wake up to written material.
What you will yet be. Deeper.
Are you a targeted individual? Have you had a paranormal encounter, or are the victim of an unregulated government experiment and would like to share your story with us? Would you like to send us some fan mail or a hate-filled rant? Do you have an idea for a future episode or wish to send a complaint to HR? Email us at atomicshaman@protonmail.com. Like, share, subscribe and be sure to check the notification bell. Follow the Atomic Shaman on Twitter at Motel and RV Park. Listen to Paranormal Green Text Stories on Atomic Shaman TTS on YouTube. Catch the live streams of Atomic Shaman Sweat Lodge only on Rumble.